And ironically, today it seems that we've completely reversed the order of power, where according to the founding fathers in the Constitution, the most power was given to the legislative body. After the legislative body was the president, and the weakest branch was the judicial branch. And today, it seems that no, we've come to learn over recent years that the president has a lot of power because he has a pen and a phone and he can pass whatever laws he wants. And the U.S. Supreme Court gets to determine if it's actually legal or not, and they have so much power and authority. How did we get to the place where we have completely reversed the order of where power should be?
Well, this goes back to us not knowing our rule book. And we talked about that earlier. You can't compete effectively if you don't know the rules. How can you have a football game if you don't know the rules of the game? The rules were given us in the Constitution. So heads up, the legislative, really big section. The president, smaller section, and the smallest section of all was given to the judges. Now that should tell us something, but in case that's not enough, the guys who actually wrote the Constitution gave us a commentary on the rules, if you will. So the Federalist Papers were written by Alexander Hamilton, signer of the Constitution, and James Madison, signer of the Constitution, and John Jay, the original Chief Justice, U.S. Supreme Court. And in the commentary, they said the judiciary is beyond comparison the weakest of the three branches. Well, I was told they were all co-equal. That's what we've been hearing in recent years, and the judges especially like to tell us they're co-equal. That's not the way it was set up. And so when you look at the Federalist Papers, they said that the legislative is by far the strongest, and they designed it that way because we have more direct accountability with the legislature than we do with judges, so we give them little power, we give the legislature big power.
So even though judges are, according to the Federalist Papers, beyond comparison the weakest branch, today it seems that they're the only ones who are able to determine what's constitutional, and that would even seem contradictory to this notion of three co-equal branches, because if there's three branches and they're all living according to the Constitution, it would seem that all three branches should have the ability to determine levels of constitutionality.
Well, when someone takes an oath of office, and that's whether it's at the local, county, state, or federal level, they take an oath, first of all, to uphold the Constitution of the United States. They don't take an oath to uphold the opinions of the judges on the U.S. Supreme Court. That's not it. Each one of them is tasked with reading the Constitution themselves and upholding what that rule book says. It's not what the others say, it's what that rule book says. And so that's why we do that. And just as we've gotten away from understanding the Constitution, and it is such an easy document to read, it might take 15 to 20 minutes if you're a slow reader.
Maybe 25 or 30. He's given a little more credit, right? But either way, it's not that big of a document.
It's not hard. The Constitution really is a simple document.
Yeah, so to understand America's government, we have to start with the Constitution. Written over 200 years ago, when the nation was first being established out of 13 colonies, the document was an important blueprint for growing a new country. Its 7 sections or 7 articles detailed important principles for governing the people. Take a look.